All right, I'm back to answer your questions for Q&A round 14. The first question comes from James Moss. What is the worst 80s horror movie that you hate the most? Um, I don't really know of any 80s horror movies that I've seen that I hate. So the answer would be none. The next question comes from a YouTuber or a YouTube user named Bryson. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Thank you for participating, James. And to answer your question, Bryson, he says, do you like the Saw franchise? Not really. I had a friend that liked it a lot. I was never crazy about Jigsaw. Everyone that watches my channel knows that. I used to make fun of him back in the day a lot on my channel. I was never a Jigsaw guy. Michael Myers is my horror icon. So I hope that answers your question. I'm just not a Saw person. Next question comes from K Breezy. He says, after Halloween ends, do you think they should do Michael versus Jason? And who is your current favorite WWE wrestler? Mine is Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan. Um, and I said this before, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but unfortunately, um, it's Becky Lynch. And when I say unfortunately, that's not a diss on Becky. What I'm saying is there was a time when you could say my favorite person, it was Stone Cold or The Rock or The Undertaker or Triple H or Shawn Michaels or whoever. But the fact that a woman has come into WWE and has basically dominated WWE for the last 3 years, that's saying that the product is changed. It has changed a lot. Becky Lynch is my favorite WWE superstar. She just is. She changed the game. But I will say Roman Reigns is okay. And Drew McIntyre, he he carried the company during the global pandemic, so I respect him for that. Now about Michael versus Jason, no. I don't think Michael should fight anyone. That's beneath him. He's Michael Myers. He's great. He's awesome, so no. The next question comes from Everyday Horror. He has quite a few here. The first one says, he left a lot of questions. He says, who are your top 5 wrestlers of all time? Um, I don't have a top 5, but I will say top 3. Uh, The Rock, Becky Lynch, and Steve Austin. So I'll leave it at that. Then you say, do you think Halloween Ends will incorporate the Cult of Thorn but in a subtle way? Um, no. I don't think they'll do that because they've gone out of their way to basically diss the other movies, although they've dissed them and yet they've made subtle references. So then again, you're right, you never know. But to answer your question, no, I don't think they'll do that. I hope they don't. And then you say, what are your expectations for Scream 5? Um, I don't know. I'll have to see it. I think it's going to be great, though, because Nev Campbell always does great as Sidney Prescott. So I think it'll be good. I think she'll do a good job. And you ask me next, what are my thoughts on the Haddenfield Nightmare fan film? I will say this. I think they did a good job with that movie as far as filming it, but I really don't like how they keep ignoring the other movies. Like, that's really getting old. It just is. Stop it already. And that's a bunch of BS to say that there's no way to incorporate the other movies in there. Yes, there is, because I did it right along with Jules Sains, aka the resident of Collinwood. We actually have our own Halloween script, and we incorporated all 8 movies. So don't tell me there's no way to do it, because there is. They just don't want to do it because there are certain films in the 1 through 8 timeline that got a lot of flack, like 5, 6, and Resurrection. But I look at it like this. If you're going to say that 5, 6, and Resurrection are stupid, then you might as well say the whole thing is stupid. And I've always said this, because it's stupid for somebody to get shot 6 times, stabbed in the lung, poked in the eye, and stabbed in the neck. They fall off a balcony and walk away like nothing happened. So 5, 6, and Resurrection are stupid, but that's not. Halloween fans are amazing. They really are. This is why I don't engage in fandom. It is a pointless and toxic thing. It just is. Not every fan, just some fans. The fans that constantly diss 5, 6, and Resurrection, but they don't think about the fact that Michael had all those things happen to him, and that's just in the first movie alone. Imagine what would have happened with the other ones. Well, they did happen. Imagine what happened to him in 2 and 4 and 5, and But in the first movie alone, he basically sustained a massive amount of damage and lived. So, please, you know what? Whatever. I don't engage in Halloween fandom. Or I should say I barely and rarely engage in Halloween fandom. Toxic environment. Your next question, and I apologize for that mini rant, but they annoy me sometimes. Your next question is, how would you bring back the Friday the 13th franchise? I don't know. I would follow up from Jason Goes to Hell somehow. And then you say, how would you bring back Nightmare on Elm Street? It would be a sequel to Freddie's Dead. And it would have an older Lisa Wilcox. And it would have her son Jacob. Okay, Everyday Horror, thank you for participating. Wait, I think you left me one more question. Yes, you did. What are your thoughts on Stone Cold Steve Austin walking out in 2002? Well, that's one of those moments where it's like where were you when this happened? Because that was a huge moment in WWE. I remember I was on vacation in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and just chilling near the beach, and I went home to watch some wrestling news, because they used to have a wrestling news show come on called WWE Confidential, and they said that Stone Cold had left WWE. And let me tell you, Everyday Horror, I was just floored. I was shocked. I just didn't know what to think as a wrestling fan. I was angry. I was disappointed. And I was very upset with Mr. Austin. I was very upset with him. And then he did it again in 2004. But I learned that there were some things going on with Mr. Austin that I was unaware of. I did not know that Mr. Austin had been booked so poorly. I didn't know that. I did not know that Steve Austin basically had been booked on a mid-card level. I did not know that until I got older. I was 16 at the time. So I was unaware of these things. So I'm not angry with him anymore because I now understand why he left. I just wish he would have tried to talk it out with Vince, because I feel that him being away so long is what contributed to his panic attack or whatever it was that he had in 2003 when he tried to wrestle The Rock, at WrestleMania 19. I think he was away too long. You can't go that long without doing something and then try to do it again. And trust me, I know, because I'm in a wheelchair and I used to use a walker. So it can be very, very difficult to do when you don't do something in a long time. And then you go and try to do it again as if time hasn't passed at all. As if time has stood still, and it hasn't. I think Steve Austin, I think he thought he could just get back in the ring and everything would be okay. But I can tell Mr. Austin from experience, having cerebral palsy, it doesn't work that way. You can't just get back in. You can't just stand straight up and just do something as if time hasn't passed. Because time has passed. And the longer you sit on your behind, the harder it's gonna be. Believe me, guys, I know. So I can relate to Mr. Austin when it comes to that. Thank you for your questions, Everyday Horror. I was really shocked when he left WWE, but I did not know that he was being treated so poorly. So I understand why he left. Thank you again. My next set of questions come from Gorgira Fan 1954. What's going on, bro? Your first question, wow, so many questions here. He says, what do you think of the Alien vs. Predator franchise? Was never crazy about it. Then you say, what did you think of the first RZH movie when you first heard about it? I was a little apprehensive, but believe it or not, ironically, when I saw Rob Zombie's Halloween the first time, I actually liked it. But I grew to dislike it later on. And then you say, how did you feel when Halloween Retribution got canceled, aka Halloween 9? I was really disappointed. You know me, because I really wanted another Halloween, and I hope that happens someday. Then you say, how would you feel if Spider-Man 4 got a revival? I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know if you mean if they decided to do Spider-Man 4. If they did, um, I would be very excited about that because I like the first three Spider-Man films. I like the Sam Raimi trilogy. Then you go on to say, what other secrets did any of the Halloween novelizations reveal? None that I can remember. I think there was one secret that they, and I'm laughing because I see that one of your questions, you asked me about Julian McMahon. Oh my goodness. I like how you guys actually listen to what I say. Everybody knows I love Julian McMahon and I've wanted him to play Michael. But anyway, getting back to your question about the secrets in the Halloween novels, the only other secret that I know of is the one that says Laurie and Michael actually knew each other. And that was revealed in Halloween 2. So that's the only thing I could think of. And I thought that was creepy. You know, you can go hear my thoughts on that in the novelization review on the channel. And then you go on to ask me if Michael Myers ever watched any movie, what do you think it would be? I don't know. I think it would have to be a very kiddie movie. Michael strikes me as a very childish person. So, I mean, it would have to be, I don't know, Casper the Friendly Ghost. I don't know. I have no clue. He strikes me as, somebody said he's a 6-year-old boy in a grown man's body. And I agree with that. So, it would have to be something childish. To answer your next question, what do you think of the new Orphan prequel that's in development? I'm very excited to see it. Very excited. I can't wait. Next question says, have you ever seen any of John Carpenter's other movies like The Thing or Vampires? Yes, I have. I've seen them both. And I've seen Prince of Darkness. Then you say, would you get Julian McMahon for Michael if they did a TV show? Maybe. I might try to bring Chris Duran back, or either Lito, what's his name? Lito Velisco, whatever his name is. I'm sorry I'm butchering your name. But I heard he wants to play Michael, and he's a big fan. He's a friend of Justin Beam, so, and I respect Justin Beam from Scream Factory and Fangoria, so I would probably get Lito to play Michael Myers. Let's see, your last question. What are your thoughts on Freddy versus Jason versus Ash? I don't know. I've never read it, so I can't comment on that. Thank you for your participation. On to the next person, B Hunt 799. The first question says, where else would you like Halloween to be set besides Haddenfield? I don't know, because to me Haddenfield is the only place that you could really set Halloween. That's just my opinion. Then you say, what got you into making videos? Well, I watched a lot of movie reviewers like Jawoosh, and some other ones. I can't remember their names. I think Movie Review Time and people like that. And so I decided I wanted to do it. I've always wanted to connect with the fans. So that's what got me into that. Then you say, what got you into movies? I don't know. I don't think there is a specific thing. I think maybe one day I just saw a movie on TV and I just decided I like movies. I don't know. Do you watch NASCAR? No, I don't. Thank you for participating. B Hunt 799. I've never been into racing, but thank you for participating. I appreciate that. The next set of questions come from Horror Fan 1989. Have you ever seen any of the very old horror movies from the 1930s and 40s, like Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, Dracula, The Wolfman, and such? Unfortunately, I have not. And the last set of questions come from resident of Collinwood, Jules Sains. He says, do you think we'll see both Mario and Luigi in the new movie? I hope so. Then he says, is there a true crime case that doesn't receive enough attention? Well, I think there are a lot of them. I mean, there's a woman by the name of Kelly L. Allen that disappeared in 2007 and they never did find her. She never got the attention she deserved. And I think that's what happens to women of color and even men of color. Our cases don't get reported as much as whites and other ethnic groups, and it's an unfortunate thing. But there are so many cases that I would like to see covered that simply don't get enough attention. And she's one of them. And there's Monica Bowie, who was abducted, and she's also a woman of color, and her case just does not get enough attention. We need to get these things out there, you know. And resident of Collinwood, I appreciate you asking me that. But yeah, we need to shine a light on these things. And then you go on to ask me, who would you cast as Princess Peach? Oh my goodness. I don't know. I would have to look into that. And you say, who would you cast as Bowser? Again, I don't know. I would have to take some time and think about that. And then you say, would you consider doing a top 5 kills for the Terminator franchise? I don't know. I would have to ask the fans and see what they think about that. I've not really been interested in the Terminator franchise, you know, in that aspect, to actually rank the kills. You know, this is not like Halloween where you can just do something like that. So I would have to ask the fans and get back to you on that. All right, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for participating in this round of Q&A. Hopefully we can do another one very soon. I'm the Michael Myers Fanatic. I approve this message. Please follow me on all forms of social media at the Myers Fan 25. Thank you to everyone who participated. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.